Have you ever wondered what would have happened if Taniyama never ran out of the debate and Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian? Well, in the light novels, Nonoa actually answers this question for us. During a conversation with Kuze, she noticed that he knew about the plants she had in the audience. This made her ask him what his backup plan was. If she didn't forfeit, Kuze stayed silent and shrugged, so Nonoa took her own guess at what he would have done. She noted that the Academy has become very strict when it came to cheating, because there used to be bribes and threats during elections. This made her assume that Kuze would have told the school that Nonoa had planted people in the audience to give them an unfair advantage. Kuze could have also told them the names of all the plants Nonoa had. This would force the school to get involved because of the importance of the student council, and it would be a horrible look on Nonoa and Taniyama, and Kuze and Alia would have won by default. Did you know that in Mushoku Tensei, Rudius is one of the few people Princess Ariel fears? Ever since he got to the academy, Ariel has taken an interest in him and has made an effort to remain on his good side. But why? Before they ever actually met in person, Sylphie had already hyped him up as a prodigy, and mainly talked about how he was a silent spellcaster and how he became a saint-class water mage at just 5 years old. However, Ariel was suspicious if someone that powerful actually existed, and she even doubted that many of the stories about him were true after hearing rumors that he was someone that had slain a red dragon. But after they finally met, Ariel began to see that the rumors about him were actually true, and she began to fear him for 3 main reasons. First, he had insanely powerful connections, like Zonoba, who was a prince, Nanahoshi, who had a stellar reputation with the Magic Guild, the Academy, and was responsible for most of the Academy's practices, Linnea and Persena, who were royalty of the Beast Tribe, as well as Batagati, who was an immortal demon king known worldwide, all of which are people who Ariel would benefit from if they were on her side, and that's only some of the people he knows. Then there's the fact that he has a really good record as an adventurer, being highly ranked with impressive feats. And the final reason is his raw power. Did you know that in ReZero, Otto's first love isn't what you'd expect? Ever since he was born, Otto has had the divine protection of the soul language. This divine protection allows Otto to understand and even talk to animals, but it came at a cost during his childhood, as for the first few years of his life, everything the animals were saying weren't comprehensible to him, so he would just hear constant, incoherent chattering in his head. However, as Otto got older, he began to understand more and more of what the animals were saying to him, until he could understand them completely. It was because of his divine protection that Otto would eventually see animals more as equals instead of actual animals. And this caused him to actually catch feelings for a cat he met in his childhood. However, he would never actually make any moves towards the cat, and eventually, he would watch the cat he fell in love with get taken away by a different cat.
Did you know that Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian is turning into an isekai? Originally, the series was never even meant to be a high school romance, but instead a romance in another world, and now that's exactly what's going to happen. The author, Sun Sun Sun, originally wanted the series to be an isekai where the main female protagonist was reincarnated into another world and hid her feelings in Japanese, while the male protagonist was also isekai'd and he would be able to understand her. However, that idea ended up getting scrapped, but it seems like Sun 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 still wanted to write an isekai novel. So we isekai'd the entire student council and made the story The Hero Alia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. I would like to add, this isn't a new novel to the series, as it was previously included with a purchase of the Season 1 Blu-ray in Japan as an official spin-off, but it is now being released publicly in Japan on May 1st. The story itself is going to be about all the student council members getting reincarnated into a fantasy world, but with a twist. Magic exists, but you can't cast any spells unless the incantation for it is said in Russian, and on top of that, they have to save Toya, who ended up being the husband of Princess Chizuki, and there will also be moments of romance in it, which probably means fan service too. But overall, I'm not expecting much out of the story, but it has potential.
Did you know that in Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian? A store clerk tried to be a wingman for Alia. In the manga, when Kuze was helping Alia shop for clothes, a store clerk was also helping Alia pick out clothes to try on. The store clerk, seeing Kuze helping Alia shop for clothes, assumed that he was her boyfriend, but Kuze told her that wasn't the case. However, after Alia came out of the dressing room to show Kuze the first outfit she put on, and seeing how Kuze praised how she looked in the outfit, and how both of them became flustered when he gave her his compliments, The store clerk knew that there was something special between the two of them. This prompted the store clerk to go up to Alia and recommend an outfit that the store clerk was sure would get her compliments from Kuze. Alia took the clerk's recommendation, and when she went to show Kuze the outfit, the store clerk praised how she looked. This made Alia ask Kuze if he thought the same, and Kuze's response to her was that she looked beautiful, making all the store clerk's efforts worth it.
Is Arisu in love with Ayana Koji in Classroom of the Elite? She's been interested in him ever since she saw him in the White Room, but is it love or something even more complex? I think it's kind of a hard question to answer because her whole reason for even challenging Ayana Koji in a special exam was to prove her philosophy that geniuses are born and not made. And if she could beat the White Room's masterpiece, she would effectively prove that. So by default, he was already in a special place because he was the only one that could help her get what she wanted, even if it wasn't out of love. However, Arisu is also a person who enjoys situations she finds interesting, and every interaction she's had with Ayana Koji she's found interesting and thoroughly enjoyed them. So much so that it got to the point that she couldn't sleep the night she was about to face off against him in the special exam. And even during the exam, her heart was racing from being in the same room as him, and she couldn't help but steal glances at him and feel attracted to him. Afterwards, she even called the special exam her best memory because of the time she got to spend with Ayana Koji and how much she was challenged. So there clearly is an attraction to Ayana Koji, most likely made out of the fact that his genius is able to actually challenge her own and make situations interesting for her in a way nobody else's can. On top of the fact that she now acknowledges and even admires his skills, which shows that he clearly has a special place in her heart.
Did you know that in Re:Zero, Subaru's contract with Beatrice might be holding her back? After Subaru finally managed to convince Beatrice to break her contract with Echidna and instead form a contract with him, Subaru gained a significant power boost. However, the case might not be the same for Beatrice due to two main reasons. The first reason is actually hidden within the conditions of their contract. According to its terms, their contract together makes it so Beatrice is unable to drain mana from anybody other than Subaru. It also makes her unable to use any of the mana in the atmosphere, causing her to be completely reliant on Subaru as her only source of mana. The second reason adds to this, as Subaru is very slow at generating mana, which means Beatrice is unable to restore the majority of the mana that she uses, and she would have to wait a decent amount of time if she wanted to drain a sufficient amount of mana from him. Due to this, the spells that she can cast are limited, and she is unable to use her most powerful spells unless she were to wait a very long time to store up enough mana. Did you know that in Re:Zero, there is actually one thing about Emilia that Subaru can't stand? In a side story taking place shortly after the Mob Beast attack, Subaru and Rem would be taking a break from their daily tasks and share a cup of tea. However, Emilia would interrupt them with an instrument in her hand, similar to a guitar, and she would ask Subaru if he was able to play it. To Rem and Emilia's surprise, Subaru admitted he was actually able to play some songs. After the two girls found that out, they wanted Subaru to perform something for them. Subaru would agree to their request and asked Emilia if she had any songs in mind that she wanted him to perform. Hearing this, a song immediately came to Emilia's mind, but she was unable to remember the title of it. So instead, she decided to sing it, hoping that Subaru would be able to recognize it and play it. When she was finished singing, Subaru and Rem's faces were in shock, and before either of them could say anything, Ram walked in the room complaining about hearing a sound that sounded like a screeching bird. It was then when everyone realized Emilia was terrible at singing, and Subaru noted that she was tone deaf. It got to the point where Puck considered himself a failure as a father once he heard it, and Subaru even considered her a victim of the world because of how horrid it was. Did you know that Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian? Alia once cosplayed as a video game character because of Kuze. After Kuze unlocked the character Tsukuyomi in a video game, he called the character cute. This made Alia feel a surge of jealousy over his admiration for the character, even though Tsukuyomi was just from a video game. Wanting to be called cute herself, Alia decided to act on her feelings, and later that night, she would go home and begin putting together a full Tsukuyomi cosplay, trying to look exactly like the character. She even went as far as to practice some of the character's voice lines while in the cosplay, determined to embody Tsukuyomi perfectly. However, Her cosplay was quickly interrupted when Masha unexpectedly walked in on her. Alia, caught off guard, became incredibly embarrassed and stopped the cosplay at that moment, telling Masha that she needs to learn how to knock before going into someone's room. Did you know that in ReZero, Satella and the Witch of Envy are two different people, and it was Satella who was the one that unalived all the witches? Originally, Satella was not compatible with the witch factor of envy. However, despite being incompatible with it, the witch factor was forcefully inserted into Satella. This caused her to gain a separate personality, which would be the personality of the Witch of Envy, but she would still keep her own personality as well, causing them to become two separate entities. On top of this, it is stated that all of the witches, except Echidna, like Satella, but they hate the Witch of Envy. However, this is strange due to the fact that it was Satella's personality that was the one to unalive all the witches and consume half of the world, and not the Witch of Envy's personality, meaning Satella was in control and made the decision to do all of those horrible things.